It's on.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we gathered today to talk about consciousness development. And I'm very curious actually about your view on this topic and what you have to say about it.
Yes, thank you, Goran. It's a big topic in my life since a few years now, and yeah, it's like the overlapping structure of spirituality for me, and yeah, consciousness is everywhere around. It's our life, it's God, it's how we interact ourselves with other people. Um, yeah, um, it's uh, it's a lot. Shall I dive in my history?
Yeah, it could be, I think, useful to know, for example, for how long are you like into spirituality? When did it like first enter your consciousness? When did you become aware of, okay, there is something spiritual going on? And yeah.
Yes, yeah. So how you how you look at life can have many different yeah, viewpoints. A long time in my life, I used rationalism to sort of manage myself and to look at the world. And yeah, then I at a certain point I discovered all kinds of other areas, um, including yeah, just even just areas such as being deeply touched by art and by music that really triggered something in me that said, okay, there is like something higher in life. And I used to be for a time an atheist, but yeah, when I was really like touched like so deeply by all different kinds of um, cultural expressions and music. I think I just switched from being sort of this hardcore or a rationalist atheist kind of guy to more, okay, you can enjoy the beauty and the harmony and the ungraspable mystery of life in so many ways. And that's also when I started to also venture into other domains. Yeah, psychedelics has been an area which also made me realize that there's so much of us going on, and psychology is a very limited way of looking at us, looking at the mind. Um, yeah, so these are all kinds of areas, and um, yeah, another point is like at a certain point I stumbled upon the works of the American researcher David Hawkins with his research about consciousness development and levels of consciousness with specific vibrations relating to all kinds of states of awareness, of emotions and thoughts. And that's really boggled my mind and shifted my view of reality and basically led to my awakening about 2 years ago now. And that's when I thought, okay, we really do live in a divine creation, a divine world. And yeah, had some incredible uh, moments there um, with the coach I had in Amsterdam, and yeah, that's really got me on the path of consciousness development and spirituality.
Mm. Very great insights about your history. very,
Yes.
very valuable. What caught my attention is you mentioned you were more the rational guy, the atheist, like, and you had a very logical way of seeing things. And for me, it seems like you saw that a bit limiting, and it seems like you saw through it, and yeah, things changed. And was it when you had your spiritual awakening actually that you kind of overcome these limitations of, let's say, the rational thinking and the processes of rationality?
No, it was a bit earlier, I think. Just spirituality was, or the awakening was really the big shift. But yeah, really, like looking through life in different lenses, also, yeah, with creative expressions and with emotions. And another topic is philosophy. That got me deeper into, like, why do people live their lives as they live it? How come certain patterns of behaviors have been constructed like this? How has society grown into certain moral values, and how have these values came to be, by which by which people, by which thought leaders, and by which moral leaders. And yeah, then it also made me like revalue, for example, the teachings of Jesus and Christianity. Like, I grew up with Catholic background, not having so much attention to it. Like, when I became an adolescent, and I rebelled a bit against it by being an atheist then, and then I think I basically yeah, came to the realization that this whole sort of moral development is a very big chunk of how we approach life, how we approach other people in our lives, and that it has many components. I also started reading a lot of books about of yeah of different kind of philosophers, like Nietzsche and Schopenhauer and Kierkegaard, and they really were so much bothered by these existential questions of, like, why do we live, and what makes life worth living. Yeah. And yeah, and those, I think a lot of those answers also came to be, it's not the logical way of of um, uh, looking at reality. It's not just having enough income to have your house, have some nice food, and have some entertainment. No, there are deeper values to be touched by as a human. And that's, I think, yeah, a bit of the process of, like, self-actualization that triggered that in me, like, who am I? And self-knowledge. That was that became an interest of me, like, about yeah, I'm not even sure, actually, maybe 5-6 years ago, that I was sort of triggered and thought, okay, I don't want to live my my standard way of how I've been grown up, and how my parents chose to live, but I can think for myself, who am I, and how do I want to live, and what are the possibilities in this era, and what are my talents, what are my gifts. Yeah, all those kinds of questions came to be, and those were not necessarily in the rationalistic domain.
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you sort of relate to this maybe in your viewpoint of rationalism or not? Tell me.
um, Yeah, I can. I mean, I also kind of see it in different areas. And also when we, let's say, talk about rationalism, we are not talking about not, uh, what is the contrary? Irrationalism? Can you say that in English?
Mm, yeah, that would be one way. You could also come up with other ways, but would be one way, yeah.
What I mean is, when we're rational, we're talking about an area that must be limiting. Like, let's say, in the mathematics, when we talk about rational numbers, these are limiting numbers. And when we are talking about not rational numbers, these are some numbers that are probably harder to understand, or maybe hardly to understand. And obviously, it's a dimension for which our mind is not that easily made. And it makes it interesting, as it's a field that we as humanity sometimes are not brave enough to explore, as we think it's either not understandable, or it's maybe like insane. But I don't think so. I think it's an unbelievable big opportunity, and probably endless opportunity, the way of non-rationality. And yeah, that's for me like one field where you can see it, like in the mathematics, which is for me quite obvious. And also obviously in
Could you
human
actually,
nature.
uh, okay, human nature is actually, I think, an amazing topic to discuss, and also for this topic, but for mathematics, could you, I don't know, expand a bit on that? Why you
I
think
can
that's
give an
so?
example.
Um,
Let's say if you take the square roots of a negative number, this is said to be in German we say irrational, a non-rational number, and
yes.
it can't be actually further explored without using some concepts, or let's say dividing by zero, as it makes no sense for our understanding what is actually meant when we divide by zero. And these are actually my own perceptions on mathematics. I haven't really
Yes.
talked about it with someone, but to me it looks like that. Calculating with the rational number it works, but unless when you enter the like irrational concepts of mathematics, then our mind blocks. We can't understand it. And this doesn't mean it's not valuable or not worthy of looking deeper into it. On the contrary, I think it's very valuable, and but like hard to grasp. So for me it's similar like in spirituality, when you stop at rational thinking and start to explore irrationally, then things become interesting, and they become spiritual, I think.
Well, do you actually know what pops to my mind now? Because you can also, of course, look at the world of spirituality through a mathematical lens, and you have like all these different kinds of they sometimes call it like universal laws or divine laws or mathematical laws such as in the Hermetic tradition with like the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of resonance, and they hold like a fascinating kind of precision to me. And yeah, and one other thing is like, yeah, they uh, they interact with each other, and they um, uh, yeah, they have a certain universalness to it, which is like outside of the uh, uh, bit more old school Newtonian kind of physics, but more into the quantum physics. And yeah, that's it. It has for me a precision that's very interesting.
Hmm. I have to admit that I'm not too much into mathematics, but the terms are known for me, like, yeah, law of attraction. And obviously, we attract what we are attracted to, and otherwise.
Yeah, and we also attract like what our own vibe is, what our own uh, energy is like, and that's what we have in our world. Uh, Whatever we have, whatever uh, things, thoughts, emotions, people, experiences, it's all because it has a certain yeah, resonance with our vibration, I would say.
Yeah, I guess it was that what led you then to more profound spiritual insights when you started like to read these psychological teachings and everything, and you started to resonate more with these things, and finally came to your spiritual awakening. What interests me is this was all like, or a lot of these things that you mentioned before, were before your spiritual awakening. What happened afterwards? How did your approach to these things change? What teachings were you entering in, and how did this unfold?
Yeah. I think after my awakening, I really something hit me that said, okay, so all my things, all my, let's say, all my stuff, all my problems, uh, they are simply. I can actually. I'm not anymore uh, yeah, sort of a helpless human being, which can make life a bit better with rationalism. But actually, there's like a divine power I can tap into if I like that, if I allow that, and if I work on that. And yeah, it shifted me to really um, dive into uh, why I have all those patterns in my life, and what I can do about it.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's mm, I don't know. I just became very uh, sort of aware that I'm a um, I'm a creator, and the divine is like a great power. And there have been many people throughout history who have also realized this, and who have sort of managed to um, uh, yeah, use the power of the divine, and also be inspired by the divine to basically uh, yeah, to harmonize life, to beautify life. And yeah, that got me going. How how can I beautify my life? And then I saw many different traditions, many different teachers with many incredible insights who I think who lived many great lives, which I was inspired by. And then I thought, okay, yeah, I also want to live a great life. And and I feel so inspired by it, and I would love to share about it.
That's great. That's great. I think that's why we are here today.
Yes, yes.
I'm very also curious about your view on the teachings that we have done together. Actually, in
Yes.
Malta, we have had our retreat, and afterwards we have done the meditation teacher training course from Sarmindo
Yes.
and Leon
Mm-hmm.
Sangari. And there is actually one concept that is, I think, also very easily understandable for everyone. Can you talk about a bit about the map of spirituality and its concept? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this map of spirituality, it's like summarized in a really nice vortex kind of shape. I'm sure we can put it in the screen somewhere. And it denotes how uh, how consciousness and how spirituality is. I think it's manifested into the world in all kinds of ways. And then there are three categories in which humans sort of experience life, I would say. And they are is mapped in this map. And the three categories are either being in a conscious state of victimhood or abuser, which are like the lower realms. The second category is the category of self-empowerment, where you step out of blaming outside circumstances and taking your own responsibility and start to empower yourself and start to think positively about yourself and the world, and having more inner will and strength and acceptance of how your life so far has been, and take control of your life. And rationalism is also an incredible tool for shaping your life and for understanding life. And the third category is the category of self-realization, and that's also where the spiritual awakening happens into inner light. And then there are many steps all the way to enlightenment. And when you reach full enlightenment, full consciousness, you have sort of completely realized yourself. You've realized that you've become that you're one with God and one with creation, and there is no separation anymore. And I think the incredible thing about the teachings of New Humanity and the map of spirituality and the levels of consciousness is that there's such clarity suddenly to look at life and to look at the spiritual journey. And this clarity helped me enormously to grow as a human, and to see how I can grow, where I can grow, and what also what the right practices are. And that has an incredible strength to it.
Yeah. I also think so. Many things that you said resonate with me.
Yes.
Yeah, do you think the map of spirituality can be used by everyone if they put a bit work into it?
Yeah, I think it can be used by everyone. I think
And how can it be used actually?
yes. So yeah, I think you don't have to say like everyone has to use it, but I think there's such a strength to it that an incredible amount of people can benefit from it, and also use it for their own growth. And yeah, so we did like the uh, retreat together and the teacher training course now, and we learned all kinds of techniques to see, okay, if you're dealing with a specific yeah, let's say thing in your life, a specific problem or a specific feeling or some thoughts. There are many effective practices to deal with it. And I think, for example, yeah, making the transition from being so bothered by your mind and then accepting that all these thoughts, which can be so um, yeah, which can be so difficult maybe sometimes. This is not uh, our deeper nature, but we can transcend our thoughts, and we can become aware there's something deeper inside of us than our thoughts. And yeah, there are many practices, many meditations also, which are very effective to establish this. And yeah, when you become more in harmony with how your life has gone so far, and you sort of sort out your thoughts and grow into an acceptance that it's not knowledge but it's love, that's the greater strength in life. That's where you can make incredible steps in your spiritual growth. And yeah, those practices and those meditations we also learned, and which I'm already sharing now with people, are incredibly yeah, good and effective to deal with that, I would say.
To, for example, transcend thoughts. Like, would you say meditations are a good way, or what are the best ways actually? Let's say, because you talked about transcending thoughts, what are the best ways to transcend limiting or hurting thoughts?
Yes, yeah, I think that's actually also a nice question. Like, if you have like limiting thoughts about, okay, my life is not as I would like it to be, and I see no, or I have difficulty to make it better or to improve, and then can realize that you can actually choose which thoughts you want to have. And there are like meditations to actually see, well, let's just, to make like an easy example, to divide them in two categories. You can have positive thoughts and negative thoughts. And when you become aware, if you have all kinds of negative thoughts, yeah, you don't have to let your life be governed by that, but you can use meditation to like take a step back and look at yourself, and then become aware that thoughts are just thoughts, and they are not who you are.
Positive thoughts.
Yes, and then you can go into positive thoughts. It takes some practice, but and also that's also, of course, a thing. Like, it takes also self-introspection and honesty, and a certain will, certain drive to make changes to your life. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, meditations are definitely a good way to deal with every kind of thought. As we are mentioning, actually, thoughts, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, and so even positive thoughts can be a limitation. Would you say so?
Well, they're like, if you can have like the shift between positive and negative, but then if you go in the positive domain, there are also like many levels, many subtleties. And if you just stay at, like, if you look at the level of spirituality at the level of, for example, 200 positivity, courage, yeah, your life can be good, can be great, but there are way higher levels in which you can make life much more much more amazing, much more divine. Yeah.
And is this actually possible with every thought that you have, that you can empower every thought, make it more powerful than it was previously? Is this a practice thing?
Yes, yeah, I would say so. And I think there's like also because like the concept of thought seems also a bit basic to me, but if you like, certain thoughts can also have come to arise because of your upbringing, because of the societal or cultural sort of environment you have grown up to. So there can be all kinds of beliefs with all kinds of accompanying thoughts, which are governing your life, your mind, and to become aware that you can also transcend these beliefs and have a bigger understanding of what what reality is, and how
Thoughts
your
are not
reality is
reality?
formed by your thoughts. Well, no, it's like your reality is created by your thoughts. That's what I mean. And how you look at reality is also an outcome, I would say, of your thoughts. So this is really the domain where it gets a bit into like metaphysics. Like, can you accept reality to be sort of a divine creation? Okay, you can have that awakening, but then there are sort of many higher steps in consciousness to see, okay, it's not just this awakening, but you can have higher and higher steps in your consciousness to see where...
Oké, ik heb dit op het web gevonden. Voor oké rekening ben ik...
where there are more opportunities to transcend thoughts. Does this make sense?
Yeah. You're saying it gets deeper. reaching metaphysics. Yeah, let us dig into deeper. We want that.
Okay, yes,
Um,
yes. Okay. And well, okay. The one way to go deeper, but not necessarily to make it more complex, but actually also sort of make it simple, is like, why is it that a a power such as love is really governing our way of living, our way of um, uh, looking at the world. And that's when you go to the map of spirituality, for example, again, and you can have all these different kinds of states of being, whether it be thoughts or emotions or vibrations or dimensions. And then you see, okay, of course it's nicer to have positive than negative thoughts, and of course it's a more fundamental instrument to uh, uh, yeah be accepting instead of denying of life. And then uh, and then the switch can be made to um, yeah see love as this greater power. And yeah, I think an important part is just actually uh, experience it in your life, that every aspect, like how much do you love it, how much do you uh, accept it. That's how good your life is.
so we should love everyone and everything.
Well, yeah, that's also like the concept of unity. It's one creation. God is not separate from anywhere, and humanity is one collective, and everyone deserves their part. And to be able, first of all, to love yourself. that's that's a big one. And then seeing that you're not just yeah, that your circumstances are not just dependent on how you treat yourself, but also treat others. That seems pretty actually pretty logical to me too. What do you think
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah. Actually, we are above the logical dimensions here, but still we find
Yeah.
some
Yes.
rationality in it. I also see it like that. If you can choose, let's say, to at least like something or love it, or you don't love it, why not choosing the love way? I mean, what
Yeah.
actually could be the worst outcome? What could be the worst outcome of not loving somebody or something or whatever? I
Yeah.
don't
Well, and
see a
that's
worst
actually a
case
great
scenario.
question. Yeah. Well, that's actually a great question, because like it seems easy. Yeah, just love, but there can be all kinds of fears popping up um, of why you should, of why it's scary to, for example, uh, yeah, uh, do what you love, or to love another person or your fellow uh, 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 your fellow friends or the rest of civilization, because obviously there are so many problems, so many hurts. You can be hurt uh, by other people, and if you're hurt, then that can be painful. Can be so painful that uh, it's maybe too painful to process it, and then you keep carrying it, and you carry these lower emotional states, and they hold you back from expressing love, because you're so sort of yeah damaged by your way of living and interacting, that you feel unable to express love. But then comes the practice, and I think that's very important to see that all this pain you're carrying is your own resistance to love. And if you go to practice, to meditate, or other things, you can see, okay, if I actually allow this pain and then let it go, then I have more space again to more lightness and more light to shine, and to approach life with love, and to approach other people with love.
Yes. I try to also look at the things as simple as possible, and
Really?
sorry?
Really?
When I look at what you said, why not love somebody or something? Yeah, obviously because there is pain and fear and stuff, and I again like to ask there deeper and more precisely, like what kind of fear actually, what kind of pain is actually what is there? Is it like really a pain that is really like threatening your life? Let's say like in a war region where there might come somebody and shoot you dead, you know? So there is like there is a real
Yes.
fear, or if a tiger appears, and I mean there is really a
Yes.
good chance that something bad happens
Yeah.
during their life. Otherwise, then to, let's say, when you have a fear of something may occur, like maybe a rejection of a person, she may reject you, and this then may lead to any other consequences. There I think it's very important to really look like honestly to what is actually real, what is only imagined. And if we see that what is behind that pain is maybe only some imagining of some outcomes, then I think it can be very helpful to overcome this pain and these fears and to find a way to love.
Yes, yeah. You can like always keep on sort of yeah imagining or picturing what if this fear becomes a reality, and it can get a whole chain, and yeah, I think David Hawkins also wrote about it quite a bit. And his answer was that all fears in the end relate to the fear of death. And yeah, and that's that makes it like a very yeah, also like a very spiritual and existential kind of way of looking at life, that that life is there to be lived, and not to be there in a state of fear. And this is like the lesson we as humans have to learn, that we have to keep embracing love and keep fighting our fears, regardless if it's like against the position of yeah, for example, the societal norms, or the norms of your upbringing or parents. But if you if you love something and yeah, you want to live like that, uh, even though it's outside of the stratum of the uh, uh, of the norm. Yeah, you need also need courage uh, to choose for love, and that's I think that's like a continuing practice. Yeah.
Yes. I think one fundamental question is actually, do I want to live in fear, or do I want to live in what is not fear? Let's say it like
Yes.
that. And
Yeah.
if you come
Or
to
the other
the
way around.
realization,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry?
Or do you want to live in love, or do you want to live in fear? Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's very fundamental question. Yeah.
you just said there are maybe some steps you can take before you like make the transition from fear to love, like let's say courage. That makes the way easier. And also what I think is very important is to actually have some insights and knowledge about what is actually fear and when is fear occurring, as I think also many people are not too much aware of that. They obviously, if you ask them, do you choose fear or love, they would say love. But when
Yeah.
you're in a state of fear or have some anxiety about things or whatever, then that is actually the really important point, to be aware of that, to notice it, and
Yes.
to know ways how to get out of it. And
Yes.
I think this is actually a good approach to these things. Yeah, to know what it is, to notice it, and to always know you can overcome it. Like even when it gets the darkest, like the very darkest night, you know that it will be a shining morning tomorrow. It's always like that. So this is the way of love.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This I think that's also really like this awareness, or this consciousness that even though it can seem so or feel so so difficult or so hard or so fearful, yeah, keep becoming aware of that you can always uh, yeah, choose differently. Yeah, and it's in your own hands, and it takes a lot of yeah, like the conscious living, the conscious life is uh, yeah, a great journey, I would say, to also discover where we've been holding ourselves back, uh, uh, to choose and do not choose for love but for fear.
That are, I think, some very good insights. And what would you say actually, or is this already the answer? Why are you into spirituality, and why do you think consciousness development is important, or why should one have to do something with it? Is it because of the love, or what would you say actually?
Yeah, it's yeah, it's I can give many reasons.
maybe one reason, the reason is
Yeah,
why.
yes, that's a bit like, but is there like an overcoupling reason of why it's so powerful? And maybe also like why it's yeah, why it motivates me so much, and that's I think because I really see the strength and uh, the power and the beauty of actually like daring uh, to take this road, to take the road of spirituality, to take the road of consciousness development. Like it takes a lot of work, a lot of introspection, a lot of devotion, a lot of stuff. So you really need like it doesn't come easy. You can't just live your uh, ordinary, let's say, lazy life and say, okay, yeah, I like spirituality and it's now Allah for me. Like that's not the real that's not the real deal. I feel if you're really like going for it, uh, uh, which is my intention, then you have to give all you have, and that's um, um, well, for me, that also makes it uh, uh, amazing to again to experience the power of love, to experience that creation is really divine, and to actually experience that um, uh, there does not have to be fear, there does not have to be stress or anxiety, but it's all in our own hands to make life incredible and to make life uh, worth living. And if you feel like life has more in store for you, then yeah, it's an amazing path.
Wow, yeah, you said it makes life incredible. So if that
Yes.
is not worth it, then what else? If your life can get incredible
Yes.
through something, my friend, then do it. Whatever it is, actually. Yeah, if it makes your life
Yes.
incredible, then these are incredible things, and do it. Yeah.
Yes.
What I also find incredible is our interview today, our podcast. Yeah, I think we should
Yes.
do this more often.
Yeah, it
And have
was really good to talk to
incredible.
you.
Thank you.
And I feel we could talk about so much more. Yes.
Yeah, we will. For the day, I think it's a very good start into podcasting. And we will keep on, and I say thank you for today, and
Great. Thank you too.
looking forward to our next meeting.
Yes, great.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.